Today, I am going to explain the sexy movie called Good Luck to You, Leo Grande 2022. Watch out and take care. Nancy Stokes arrives with a suitcase in the hotel room and looks around the room. It is noticeable from a woman how much she is nervous because this is her first such experience, despite her great age. At the same time, not far from the hotel, a young guy, Leo Grant, finishes his coffee in a small coffee shop. After waiting for a knock on the door, Nancy drinks a glass of strong drink and makes herself several times in front of the mirror. But even when she hears the cherished sound, the woman is in no hurry to open it, and looks through the peephole for another minute, deciding to meet the guy. Greets the client with a kiss on the cheek, and smiles kindly at her, pretending that he is not worried at all, and all this is common for him. He compliments Nancy on her perfume and immediately strikes up a casual conversation, trying to win over the pensioner. Throwing his bag and coat on the sofa, Leo asks the woman to pour him a glass of alcohol to soften the atmosphere, and almost immediately proceeds to discuss the tastes and desires of the client. The couple starts by talking about music, but Leo ends up talking about what he came here. It turned out that a middle-aged woman, having lived a long and happy family life, in the end did not know real pleasure, and after her husband came to another world, the 40-year-old lady decided to invite a 19-year-old guy to her place in order to get rid of shyness and diversify her life by doing dirty and revealing things with him. Nancy is so nervous that she asks the guy to quickly do stuff and forget about her shame, but Leo insists that the woman needs to relax and enjoy their meeting. Having opened up, Nancy admits that she has never experienced final delight from any process, either with her husband or with herself, and her experience in life was not rich. Leo will become the second man in her life. The woman strongly doubts whether she should take this shameful step, because all her life she has been an ideal keeper of the hearth and a teacher at school. Such desires seem shameful to her, and rushing around the room, she constantly changes her mind. Leo is watching everything calmly, sitting on the couch and trying to convince a friend that there is nothing wrong with her desire. And in his work, the guy finally manages to calm Nancy down a little, and the lady goes to the bathroom to change to a more appropriate outfit for the occasion. At this time, it is noticeable in Leo that he is actually very worried. The young man nervously walks around the room, choosing in what form he will meet the client, and as a result choose stress on a chocolate bar. But when she returns, Nancy asks him to brush his teeth, as she cannot stand the smell of chocolate, and when the guy reappears in front of her, she admits that she is still not ready to close contact. Leo becomes interested in finishing what he started, and he persuades the old woman to lie down together under the covers, where the couple talks for a long time about the guy's family, and that his parents are sure that their son works in oil production. The lady also tells him about her adult children and the problems they face. Then the conversation turns to discussing Nancy's personal life, and she admits that there are many things she would like to try with her husband, but he considered it humiliating and did not allow himself or his wife to add more than the usual classics. Crying because of memories, Nancy remembered all her fantasies, but Leo interrupted her story with a kiss, and finally they end up having romance. A few days later, Nancy called the same worker again. This time the woman was well prepared. She made a list of her wishes that she would like to fulfill for this meeting, since she is not sure that she will have enough money for another order. It is difficult for Nancy to decide on experiments, despite the fact that she herself chose what interests her, and she again begins to rush around the room. In addition, the phone in the woman's bag begins to ring, which further distracts from her plan. It takes Leo a lot of time to arrange a client and a frank story about why he likes to communicate with older ladies and achieve complete satisfaction from them helps him in this. The old woman shares her complexes with the guy, complaining about her unattractive body, which in her opinion only gets worse with age. But Leo brings her in front of the mirror and allows her to see the beauty in herself, showering her with compliments. Finally, the couple comes to the point, and both are very pleased with what happened, but not wanting to. Nancy ruins everything by claiming to Leo that she figured out his real name. The guy is shocked that the client crossed the line that she had no right to cross and climbed into his personal life. He dresses up, collects his things, and asks her never to call him again and to do stuff so that they do not meet. The woman is trying to correct the situation, saying that she also introduced herself not by her name, and if he wants, she can tell him the truth about herself. But Leo leaves the room, slamming the door, realizing that the client has suffered in a completely wrong direction and they can never be true friends. After a couple of minutes, the guy returns to the room to find the forgotten phone, and unable to bear the look of the old woman, he tells her everything that he has accumulated. The fact that, having learned about his addictions, the mother told everyone that he had died and had not communicated with him for many years. Nervous Leo searches the entire room, but can't find the cell phone, causing the conversation to drag on and both feel awkward, but finally, he finds the phone and calming down a bit, the guy kisses Nancy on the cheek and leaves. Saying goodbye to an empty room, Nancy is sure that she will never return her and even more, she will not experience everything that Leo could give her. Couple of weeks pass and Nancy calls Leo again, agreeing to meet him, this time not in the room, but in the hotel restaurant. A pensioner meets a waitress there, who was once her student, and at first, the woman feels uncomfortable. The guy still comes to a date and Nancy asks him to forgive her for the situation. She thought about her actions and realized that she was wrong, but all this happened only because her emotions went off. She also tells the guy that she recommended him to her friends, who also did not have time to get acquainted with pleasure and family life. At the end of the conversation, Nancy decides to completely abandon the falsehood, and admits to the obsessive waitress who Leo is to her, and what kind of services she uses. After going to the room, the couple this time gets straight to the point. Nancy finally tries everything she's dreamed of, but again she fails to experience the final delight. Leo gets up to find a device in his bag that could help them in this matter, and at that moment the old woman manages to do it on her own. Shaking hands, in a friendly way the couple says goodbye, and both understand that this is forever. Nancy wants to remain in the memory of a handsome man like that, and not quite an elderly old woman, who can no longer feel anything. After seeing off a friend, the pensioner goes to the mirror, and looks at herself not the way she used to but the way Leo taught her, and for the first time in many years a truly happy smile appears on her face.